Hey everyone, I hope you are good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of didn't really want to do this video, but I do, but I kind of didn't. We're gonna talk about something that is a controversial subject. There's a lot of different opinions and thoughts on this, but I do think this is a conversation that we need to have. So we're gonna try and look at it from all sides, but this is the tough love conversation. I'm coming at this from not only being a teacher, but also having been on the receiving end of a lot of tough love when I was training, because that was really the way that it was done back then. And I won't argue that that got results. I will absolutely not argue that that style of teaching gets physical results pretty quickly. Um, I will argue that it might not be the best for emotional and mental well being, but I do believe that tough love is sometimes necessary. And I'm going to tell you why. But I do want to first put a little disclaimer on this that I am particularly talking about competitive dancing here. So just keep that in mind. We're strictly talking competitive level dancing. Um, and another disclaimer that is kind of important for students, particularly to remember, is I have never in my entire career met a teacher who enjoyed having to use tough love. I've never in my life come across this. Every teacher that I've ever talked to after they've either had to do it, it's the exact same words that come out of their mouth is, I had to do this today and I really wish I didn't. I do not like teaching that way. I've never met a teacher that was like, I had to come down hard on them today and I really loved it. Like, I've not heard this. That we don't really like to do it, but I do think that sometimes it kind of does have to happen. What it means though is that your teacher, first off, your teachers love you and care for you probably more than you realize that they do. We think about you guys all the time on our days off. Like you're always in our brains, and we care about you enough to be completely honest with you and to hold you up to your highest potential. This goes into sort of the unspoken contract that a student and a teacher enter every single time that you walk into a studio. And nobody really talks about this, and this is kind of my point of view on it. But when a student walks into the studio, you are stating that you are there to become a better dancer. Like, this is sort of the unspoken thing that you say when you come in the studio. And the teacher's part of that bargain is, I am here to help you get there. And that's kind of the contract that we enter into every single time we walk into a studio and start to do some work. There's this energetic exchange that happens in all of your relationships, but particularly talking a dance studio. And when that energetic exchange is unequal, this is where frustration starts to arise. So, for instance, if as a teacher I'm giving 100% of my energy and I'm really invested and I'm really focused, and I'm only getting back about 50%, that's where dissatisfaction comes from. And that's where that frustration comes from, when that energetic exchange is unequal. And as a student, you would feel that same way. If a teacher came into the studio and was really unprepared, they were not giving you any notes or corrections, they were, like on their phone, or their attention was, out the window, you would be really dissatisfied as a student. And you would probably be standing there like, where are you? Like, come back, come to the room. I'm here to learn. So you can understand why if you were giving 100% of your energy and the teacher was only giving you 50%, you would be greatly frustrated as well. So we can see how that sort of energetic exchange becomes really important in a studio. I'm going to go back to talking about this unspoken contract that you have when you walk in. So your stated purpose is, as you walk into that studio, is that you are there to become the best dancer that you can be on that day. Your teacher will pull out that tough love if you are consistently behaving in a way that doesn't match with that purpose. So, right, like you have your purpose over here, and then you have your behavior over here. The frustration comes up when your behavior does not align to your purpose, which is to become the best dancer that you can be. And your teacher's responsibility, like this is what your teacher's paid to do, is to call you out on that. Because sometimes we don't know. It's not because we're lazy. It's not because we're bad people, because we're not. It's that the behavior is in such a way that will not get you to your stated purpose and your reason for being there. And sometimes you're not aware of it. Sometimes your teacher's got to call you out on it. And I think in life, even not just in the studio, but in life, it's really important that we have people who care about us enough to not spare our feelings and holding us accountable to behaving in such a way that will get us towards our stated purpose, whatever that purpose might be. I really feel that we need other people to hold us accountable to what we're doing. So when it comes to dishing out tough love, as a teacher, I know we need to have well-chosen words. We're human. We make mistakes sometimes. You know, sometimes we're held to a lofty standard. Maybe keep that in mind. In terms of how to deal with it when you're on the receiving end of tough love, I know this can be hard, but I want you to maybe check in with yourself. What were you doing before that happened? Were you staring off into the abyss? Were you actually present in the class? Were you actually working your hardest? And that can be a hard one to really be honest about, because we always want to say that we're doing our best and put our best self forward. But be really honest about that. Your teachers know what you're capable of. They really do. They know what you're capable of, and they very honestly want to see you reach that potential. So check in with yourself on that. And then always just be aware of your reason for being there. Always go back to why you walk into that studio on a daily basis. Am I really here because I want to be the best dancer that I can possibly be? Find your why again. And have open communication with your teacher. Talk to them. They're people. They'll listen to you. Have open communication. Teachers have open communication with your students. So that's my tough love conversation. I really, really want to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on this and start a dialogue around it, because I know that this can be the sticking point in training for a lot of people. So let's open this up. Let me know. Thank you.